Namaste, greetings to all, and welcome to another episode of One Way of Thinking About It. One Way of Thinking About It is a Q&A platform where we will be taking up questions from individuals around the world. And we will be taking about 10 or so minutes to deep dive into each question from our deepest understanding at this present moment. So with the foundation laid, let's get into it. So our question today comes in from Las Vegas. Las Vegas in the building, Vegas in the house. Thank you for checking in. So our question reads, how does one deal with a partner that is narcissistic? Good question, good question. So let's start with a definition of narcissism so we can all be on the same track, the same wavelength with Narcissism. Narcissism is extreme self-involvement to the degree that it makes a person ignore the needs of those around them. While everyone may show occasional narcissistic behavior, true narcissists frequently disregard others or their feelings. They also do not understand the effect that their behavior has on other people. Okay, with the foundation laid of the definition of narcissism, a narcissist, I love that definition because it actually states the truth. All human beings, 98% of human beings are narcissists. Now let's break this down. What is a narcissist? Someone who is self-involved. Humanity, this is our biggest issue with humanity, with human beings. This is what stops human beings from knowing who they truly are. The true self in us, the Godhead, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness, the universal consciousness, existence of who we truly are in self, the energy that lights this human equipment, this human form up. What is that energy? Humanity, most of humanity does not know this because we are narcissists. We are so self-involved with either the body, the mind, or the intellect. So let's dive deeper into this. And to really start to understand this way of thinking about it, you have to reflect. You have to reflect on your mind. You have to start to become aware of your mind and what you think about, what really goes on in your mind. And you're either thinking about your body, you're either thinking about your likes, your dislikes, your preferences, your feelings or emotions, which is your mind. That's what makes up your mind, or the intellect. And that is your knowing, what you think you know or what you know. These three things a human being is constantly thinking about. And it is completely has to do with oneself. How does my body feel? How does my body look? I like this or I don't like this. So let's go back to the question. How does one deal with their partner that is a narcissist? How does one know that their partner is a narcissist? It's a interesting saying that says, what Peter says about Paul speaks more about Peter than Paul. We may know after a while with being with somebody and assessing them properly, we can know a person's tendencies, we can get to know their inherent nature. But to really know a person, we don't know. You would have to know them from birth up until now. And then you still would not truly know them because you don't know how they truly processed each experience that they went through. Most human beings do not know themselves. So to say that you know a person from the outside looking in is an illusion. It's something we know people compared to us. We know them from our likes and our dislikes and our preferences and our feelings and emotions from this person. We see what we want to see reflected from our experiences and our minds. We don't usually see something for what it is. It's very difficult to see something for what it is because you have to take yourself out of it. And that is if you're on a spiritual path, that is the spiritual path, is taking yourself out of it. Stop seeing everything through your likes, your dislikes, your preferences, your feelings, your emotions, and see something for what it truly is. It's a very difficult process. I believe it was Christ that said, "Judge not the sawdust in your brother's eyes when you have a plank in yours." It's easy for us to be extroverted with our views of the world and people. It's so very difficult for us to see ourselves. And the reason why we see so much wrong in the world, because we have wrong within us. If we have no wrongs or nothing incomplete within ourselves that we know of, that is there, we would see the world perfectly, because this would be our concept of the world. So, and again, you have to reflect upon your own mind and see what your mind relates to, and to see how self-centered we are as human beings. And your self-centeredness might move to your friends and to your family. That is still pretty selfish and self-centered, because you still look at your family and your friends, my family, my mom, my dad, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my best friend. These are still yours. You still are claiming these as yours. So again, that's still very personalizing, very self-ish or self-centered when we use the words. And again, when we use the words mine and my and I, those are very egocentric, very narcissistic words to use, because we don't really own anything. Even though you might have purchased something and you think you own it, when you put that ownership on it, now you become narcissistic about that. Afraid to let somebody borrow it. They might break it or do something to it. Again, it's all relating back to you. So how does one deal with a partner that is narcissistic? First, we have to examine ourselves and see the selfishness, the self-centeredness within ourselves. And then second, if we have properly assessed an individual that we are dealing with, a partner that we are dealing with, and we see that they are extremely selfish, they don't even consider family or friends. It is completely about them. Now you've taken the first step of knowing this person's tendency, this person's nature. Now you deal with this accordingly. Now you deal with this partner accordingly. So I like to use the snake analogy. And it's easier to understand this when you look at nature. A lion. How would you deal with a lion? You know that a lion is ferocious, so you're going to treat it that way. A tiger, you know a tiger is ferocious, so you're going to handle it in a certain way. You're going to approach it in a certain way. What about a kitten? What about a bunny? What about a dog? You know the nature of these animals. They are meek animals, so you can come up and pet them. You treat them in a certain manner. It's the same way when we properly assess a human being. When we know the nature of a human being, we must follow this. We must be, because human beings are true to their nature. They're true to their tendencies. It is very difficult to move away from your nature. And you can see this if you reflect upon yourself and the things that you've tried to change over the course of your life, or the things that you've struggled with, excuse me, to overcome those. You can see how very difficult it is, excuse me, to go against your nature, your tendencies. So when we can see this in ourselves, how difficult it is to overcome our nature or our tendencies, you can have compassion, first of all, and truly understand this is this way with all human beings. It's very difficult for one to go against their nature or against their natural tendencies. So once you've assessed your partner properly, which is the first and foremost thing that we need to do with all partners and relationships in our life, is assess them properly. Because once you know the nature of the people that you are dealing with, now you do not have false expectations on these people. And then you stop yourself from getting into sorrow and misery and being let down and all this thing, because when you know the nature of something, now you don't have false expectations. You don't have false pretenses on what this person is going to be or do. You've assessed them properly. Now you can move forward from there. So this is one way of thinking about it. If there's any clarifications or comments or extra questions, you can leave them in the comments below. We'll be circling back around to those. But until the next time, much love, health, peace, and prosperity to all, and namaste.